Welcome to another weekly manga versus anime comparison, where we will talk about the new episode of Attack on Titan. And this episode was based in chapter 125 of the manga. So if you're an anime only and want to check the manga content, chapter 125 is completely free of spoilers. But remember that chapter 123 isn't animated completely yet, so if you want to read it from before, better not to do it or you will be spoiled. As you can see of this scene of Hitch talking, Mappa is using their normal style with the closer angles on each shot. When Hitch is talking to the other soldiers, we see that she's touching a card in the anime. In the manga she was talking while touching nothing. Hitch looks way different from the manga during this anime frame, and I gotta say that I like more the anime character design in this case. After Hitch throws Annie to the ground, the manga had this moment with a closer angle than the one that appears in the anime. So in this case, Isayama is doing the Mappa style with a close perspective instead of Mappa itself. The scene when Annie is talking with Hitch in the stable had more perspectives and frames in the anime. And also when Annie mentioned how she was still conscious during the last years. In the manga we could see Armin and Hitch during the flashback. In the anime they just show Annie's face while being inside of the crystal. And maybe Mappa did this change to show how she was in complete darkness while being inside of the crystal. In the manga, while Hitch asks Annie how she feels about what is happening, we could see the face of both girls. In the anime, they didn't show the face of Hitch during this part of the conversation. Also, there were some flashbacks that didn't appear in the anime, like this one. Mappa added some extra shots like this one showing the outcomes of what happened before with the beginning of the rumbling. During the flashback of the training of Annie with her father, we never see her dad kicking her as they train. This scene was added by Mappa to justify more the final actions of Annie towards him, where she attacked him so hard that he will never be able to walk straight again. During this moment when Annie stomps the bag, she had marks in her face during the manga. In the anime instead she looks 100% fine. Where we see the moment that Annie is talking with her father, in the manga she seems to be more in shock and affected by the situation. In the anime she looks way more indifferent, and I think that this is a good improvement to this moment, because in the anime her expression changes after she sees how her father cries, making everything feels more natural. This final panel of the manga shows Annie and Hitch riding the horse passing by to the guy, where everything is shown from a frontal angle. In the anime instead, Mappa shows them moving but in opposite directions. The dialogue of Reiner's mom didn't appear in the manga and was added by Mappa for this scene. When Annie's father is trying to attack the soldier, in the manga we can see more of this situation as he tries to grab the gun, then the gunshot is made. In the anime we just see his face from a closer angle, making the situation more uncertain than in the manga. But in both of them there's a gunshot in the end that makes us wonder what happened with Annie's dad. When the soldiers talk with Shadis, we see one of them putting some bandages in his arm, while in the anime he already had them when they were there. In the manga, during the final part of the conversation between Armin and Mikasa, we could see Mikasa's face during this panel. In the anime instead, they did this in vice versa, showing Armin's face instead of the one of Mikasa. This conversation of Gabi talking with the Blues family during this part had different panels for each dialogue in the manga. In the anime, Mappa didn't follow this, and they just used one angle for this scene. The scene with Jan and Floch talking in the manga didn't begin like this, where Mappa decided to begin this moment showing the person that Floch shot in the hand first, then the conversation between him and Jan. I think Floch's character design during this anime frame looks cooler and more convinced of the words that he's talking. In the manga his face isn't shown clearly, and Mappa probably decided to improve this moment so you can see a more cocky Floch talking. When Floch mentions the rumbling and how every one of the traders will lose their homelands, in the manga we could see him talking from the back, showing the Surbicorp's insignia in his jacket. In the anime Mappa changed this, and instead of Floch they show the colossal titans from the rumbling marching. This moment was censored, and there's no need to explain why it was censored. I think it's too gore for being shown in the anime. When Floch explains to Jan his vision of freedom, in the manga we could see the soldiers moving plus Jan and Mikasa in this panel. The anime instead used to show Floch from a very close angle to probably make things easier to animate. Mappa changes the position of Falco and Connie riding the horse. In the anime Falco is in the front, while in the manga he was behind Connie. As Falco tries to remember what happened before, the manga had a flashback that the anime didn't show. I think this is a bit weird considering that Mappa animated this during this same season, so they just had to show scenes from a past episode, but they didn't do it. And the final moment that I want to talk about is when Magat and Pig turn around to see who talked to them. In the manga they appear from the perspective of Hangi, while in the anime they are shown from a different angle. So this is the comparison, guys, overall as a mini review, I think that this episode was really nice. Mappa's animation was on point as usual, the story is going very fine. I hope that people doesn't hate on this because it didn't have so much action, but you gotta understand that a good story also needs a good character development, and this episode was of character development, so we can't ask for action in each episode. Also, we got some good news about Levi, so the anime onlys can be happy now. So this is it, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and as I always say, thank you and see you soon.